Hey everybody, my name is Mumbles. Welcome to our podcast. Today I'm joined with EXO, Shadow Fox, and Steve. We're going to be talking a little bit about Tarkov, how we got into the game, what we like about it, and kind of the first few things of our kind of interactions with Tarkov as a whole. Yeah, welcome everybody.
Well said, friend. Well said.
Welcome, everybody, to our first installment of our Escape from Tarkov-centered podcast. My name is EXO. I'm joined today by Mumbles, Shadow Fox, and Steve. Mumbles, tell everybody what we're here for. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first installment of our podcast. My name is EXO, and I'm joined by Mumbles207, Shadow Fox, and Steve. Mumbles, what are we getting into today?
We're going to jump into exactly how we got into the game, what we liked about it, what we don't like about it, and kind of like our first interactions with the game as a whole, and kind of why we stuck with it, because personally I love this game a lot. And
so Mumbles, why don't you lead off? You introduce yourself, what you do, how you got into the game, all that good stuff, yeah?
Yeah, so I am Mumbles207. I am originally from Maine, moved to Pennsylvania, and kind of we're just hanging around Pittsburgh City, so kind of got into streaming, 3 years now. But I was off and on because of school, and then kind of recently made the switch to YouTube. So kind of got into Escape from Tarkov, was looking kind of game bouncing between the bunch after getting out of Siege, semi-pro and competitive and all that kind of stuff, and kind of was looking for a game, bounced between a bunch of them, and saw Dr. Lupo play it one day and was like, maybe I'll give it another shot, because I gave it a shot like years ago and just died immediately and never played the game since. So I got Tarkov right off the start and literally rage quit for years. And then decided to pick it back up. The amount of content, and I believe in Battlestate games with what they're doing and where they're going with the game, so I'm really excited to kind of explore that and see that step from step. But yeah, I got into Tarkov watching Dr. Lupo play it, then got into it myself, absolutely loved it. Had aspects of Siege that came in from that into Tarkov's that I could use and kind of helped me out make the transition.
Yeah, a lot of the same tactical themes, I think, are present. Probably attempt to be more present in Tarkov, and once we get like inertia and some more balance, I feel like there'll be a lot heavier focus on the strategy and tactics, and a little bit less on the, absolute Giga Chad meta that exists, late wipe at least.
I mean, Siege still has that Giga Chad.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, Siege is a sweaty game. So I'll go next. I've only been playing the game since October. I got into the game because I hate myself, and I don't like games that make me feel strong or powerful or like the hero. I like to feel like shit. And no, a friend played the game and would go absent for days or weeks at a time from our normal gaming group, and would come back and tell us about the game, and generally kind of half meme, half not advised us not to get it. We might not like it, blah, blah, blah. And then I discovered Aqua FPS and watched him play Tarkov. I watched a couple videos of his and went and bought it. And I think I rage uninstalled only twice trying to do the Jaeger quest early on, because I joined I joined mid or late October last year, and wipe was like Christmas, so I joined really late, and there was a lot of sweaty thermal boys and stuff hanging out on woods before the woods expansion. But my background is don't fucking worry about where I live. But I play a lot of like survival games. Probably my last big foray into PvP was Counter-Strike Source. I played a lot of Counter-Strike Source, and I actually paid for a membership to a tactical server where everyone had to have voice comms and everyone played more tactically, and it wasn't the whole like lone wolf type of thing, which was really fun, because it's probably the thing I enjoy most about Tarkov. Like, I really don't play Tarkov solo very often. I like the squad play. I like hanging out with Mumbles, hanging out with Steve while he's asleep down there, and playing with Shadow and things like that. So I think between Aqua and one of my real life friends kind of got me into Tarkov some, and then I met Mumbles just hanging out on YouTube one day, and I have doubled down in my attempting to become a Chad, and I don't know how well it's worked.
Love it.
We'll get there.
For the
We'll get
record,
there.
I was not sleeping. I was
Okay,
trying
good.
to log into my account to prove that I've been the oldest. I probably wouldn't say veteran because I'm still really bad at this game, but I am the veteran here since I've been playing. It says 2017, but technically it's about a year prior to that because I started with the base edition before I upgraded to that good old Dark Edge of Darkness one. Um, but for me, I'm Steve. I'm the only Steve here, and hopefully I'll be the only Steve here. Um, I've been playing for off and on when I'm really upset with the game for I'll keep it at 3 years, probably four at this point now. Um, I actually heard about Tarkov through I was just on YouTube one day, and I don't know if any of you have seen them, but I've always seen those top 10 upcoming games this year or next year, and in probably I don't know when it started. I want to say Tarkov started in like 2016 or 2015 ish, probably like alpha ish time.
14 or 15 was alpha.
Yeah, pretty much about a year, maybe like 8 months after it came out. I completely forgot about the game. Obviously, I saw that it was upcoming. I was like, that looks like a really cool game. Forgot about it. And then one of my buddies was like, come buy this game that we're playing. It's great. Bought it. Turned out to be the game that I totally forgot about. And as we all know, you start the game, you get your base loadout. So no one told me how to play the game. So I lost everything within that first run. But that being said, um, yeah, my friends got me into it. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll really get into the nitty gritty of it. But you guys talk about mega chads and all the stuff that happens now, and it's been there since day one, but with even more flair now. And I can't wait to talk about all the stuff that used to be because it was so much easier back then. It was so good.
I got into it because of you, EXO. He started playing like a month before me, and you lived up the game. Like, it was insane how sucked into it you were. So I gave it a shot, and I hated it.
Speak up a little bit.
I'm sorry, I can hear myself. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I tried the game out, and I hated it. Like, it was ridiculously hard. There was so much waiting, and I don't think I ever rage uninstalled, but I definitely just like did not have a ton of interest in it until I don't know what happened. Something like clicked, and then I couldn't stop playing this game.
Oh yeah,
Miss Magpie.
oh,
Literally.
Anne and Mags and like the crew, once I got in, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing differently, and like I think that's what started my like real love affair. But even something before that clicked that made me even like interested in watching somebody else play.
Yeah, I think for me, like, playing when I first started the game, I obviously rage uninstalled that first day. Like, I spawned it on woods, and I remember seeing Scav Cabin and being like, yeah, that looks like cover. I'm gonna go there. I went in there, and 3 guys came through the other side and annihilated me. Like, didn't fire a shot, no nothing. I was like, all right, cool, not my game. Uninstall. And then I saw Dr. Lupo play it, and I think I only watched him like once or twice. I think my girlfriend was like, you should retry that game. Like, it looks like it's going to be a really good game. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll uninstall or reinstall. And at that point, I mean, I have 1,500 hours in under a year. Half a year. I have 1,500 hours.
You have more total hours than I do at this point, which is really sad to say, but also impressive at the same time.
Well, COVID and not having a job for 6 months due to that, I mean, 10 hours a day was spent playing Tarkov. And it was... There was a time where I remember I had no gear, no money, absolutely out. My hopes were down, and I started watching, I think, Pestily on a couple of videos how to make money, and started running scav runs and made a little bit more back. And then I found friends, and running with friends is just way easier. Like, solo's hard. Solos, if you don't know where to look and what to do, it's very hard. The Discords are a saver, honestly.
Yeah, finding good people to play with, like a good squad you can work with, because even like in the beginning we had people like, I think a lot of us were getting into it at the same time, so we were not a functional team.
Mm-hmm.
and like finding people, not even just like to Sherpa you, but people that you can communicate with well, and like I don't know, that made a lot of difference for me.
Yeah.
You know, oh, please, Exo, go ahead.
No, that was it. I was just agreeing with Shadow Fox there.
Yeah, finding that one Sherpa to give you the baseline of, like, even the traders and what to sell to and what to pick up and what not to was night and day. Like, I played for weeks without a Sherpa, and then on Ramosaurus, who I used to play with games, like, years ago on Xbox or PlayStation, found me again on YouTube and reconnected that, and then actually Sherpa'd me around customs a little bit. I got to like the game a little bit better because I wasn't dying to people in dorms not knowing where I'm going.
I did not know you knew Ramsaurus that way.
Yeah, no, we played Blackout.
Touching came back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we played Blackout on PS4 like almost every day together.
Wow, that's pretty right. Yeah, Lidecker, the same guy that bought me my awesome Aqua FPS t-shirt. He got me. He like Sherped us around or whatever, and you know, I'm sure hopefully he'll watch this. I lie. He's not as into the game. He has like life responsibilities. He's a real adult, not like us. But he Sherped me around at first and kind of taught me the way of the rat and turned me on to General Sam and had me watch a lot of the Sam videos, and then pointed me to Pestily and was like, hey, watch this stuff. And I'm a veteran Path of Exile player. I'm good at figuring out games. I'm good at figuring out what sells, what doesn't sell, you know, like things to do. You know, the stash runs and stuff like that came naturally because I'm like, oh, this is the money-making loop, and then I can go do that big, you know, kind of balls out loop, just like I would farm mid-tier maps, and then I would go push T16s and Path. Like that's, so a lot of it I think carried over, and there's a lot of the like punishing brutality that kind of carried over, and it made it, I feel like I picked up the game fairly easily. Like I hit level 31 or 32 on my first wipe.
Yeah. I mean, the more I've played this wipe, which is funny because Mumbles is the only reason why I started playing again. Furthest I've ever gone in the game. I've hit 40 before and everything, but like I never had a Bitcoin for. I never really cared about the hideout back then. I mean, to be fair, for a while, the hideout didn't even exist. It wasn't even a thing. That being said, when I first started playing this game with that group of friends, I came from Call of Duty as well. You know, come home from school, 2:30, played Modern Warfare 2 all day, or Call of Duty 2 Big Red One when I was like a
Oh my
baby.
god.
There, where you aimed didn't really matter. You just shot your gun and killed people. There was nothing else. Your bullets didn't do a certain amount of damage. So I get dropped into customs with all the starting loot that you start with, and at the time, construction was the only construction. It's not old construction at this point. It's just construction. Fortress and skeleton. None of that was a thing. They all died, like instantly. So it was just me. Some new dude, didn't know where I even was, found a guy, and the Call of Duty instinct came in, and I just started hip firing. I missed every single bullet and died, and that was my first experience, and I was like, wow, I'm really happy I spent money on this. This is so fun. But yeah, it's been an experience since then. You know.
Yeah. My
Those
first
people
raid,
don't even play anymore. It's just me from that at this point.
My first raid was offline factory. My first online raid was Scaven to Reserve, and I loaded in with a Pilgrim, which is, you know, the big purple backpack.
Yeah.
I didn't make it very long in that raid. I'm gonna put it like that. I did not last very long on Reserve before I got killed by, I'm not even sure. I had no fucking clue what was going on at all, and I just died. So
Yep.
Shadow, what was your first raid?
Remember, I was just trying to think, like, you would have been there, but I don't know. Like, the whole beginning was just like a horrible blur.
I remember my first raid with Shadow.
Oh god.
Yeah, she killed you, right? Is that what you remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun fact for you, Exo, before we get into those stories. Back in the day, before Unity, before even Reserve was a map, even before I think Interchange was really a map, the Pilgrim was the best backpack that you could get. So, you know, if you had a pilgrim, you're pretty cool. It's not about the beta 2s anymore or TAC 2s or the couch backs. It was the pilgrim. That's it, and it still is to this day for me.
The beacon.
Yeah, I would like it more if it didn't become a fucking bullseye. It's like the closest thing the game has to a UI for enemy players is, hey, that guy's fucking purple, I'm gonna shoot him.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Now it's like the big backpacks, besides the pilgrim, I'd say. So I feel like if you have a couch backpack, I feel like there's an intimidation factor into it. Where like the pilgrim's like, this guy doesn't have a good backpack, so he's probably not super geared. I bring pilgrims into like labs because it doesn't matter about camouflage and not being purple. That's the only time I use pilgrims. In fact, now I sell them all just because I don't go into labs that much right now.
It's funny you say that too, as far as the couch backpack being intimidating. I have killed exactly one PMC wearing a couch backpack ever. Every other time a guy with a couch has gotten near me, I die like hard. They're just like, fucking sweat, and then I just plop. But I still remember killing that one couch backpack wearer on customs when I was duoing with Shadow Fox, and I unloaded my 95 round mag into him, and he had no idea where I was coming from, and then I got killed by all
The
his
guy
friends.
with the ultimate and like a hex grid or something.
Yep, that's the guy.
Is that a requirement? Because I was gonna say the last time I even fought someone with a couch backpack, I was in woods with Shadow, and he had an ultimate and probably a hex grid because I had M995 and he didn't care. He just didn't care. So,
Yeah, those are the sweaty gamers that jiggle the best, you know.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who runs a couch backpack, obviously, like, at this point in the game, with how much I've grinded this wipe, I only have like 4. I mean, that's only what I've found on other people too. I mean, besides the one I literally just stole out from someone else's feet because they were in a fight and they dropped on top of the stairs. And I just happened to, I was like, I'm gonna go flank this guy. Found the backpack top of the stairs, like, never mind. I'm gonna take his backpack of goodies. Went downstairs, luckily had a vector and a bunch of other stuff. And I was like, cool, we're out. And that was my first couch backpack.
Bye.
And he
Mumbles.
searched everywhere. Everywhere. I was in the basement in the gym, and he was just running around, opening doors, kicking down doors. He was running everywhere, couldn't find me, and just left. I was like, all right, cool.
I find it funny that, I mean, don't get me wrong, there definitely is an intimidation factor when people run certain gear. But, like, I don't know, coming from almost the beginning to now, I'm intimidated by anyone I see, because I don't trust anyone. I've
Yeah.
seen clearly, Mumbles, we've seen them. There's been 4 people, level 2, having M4s and big gear, and we've destroyed them. And then there's the level 1 Chad with a Mosin, and he kills everyone on the map. So it's like, I don't really trust anyone. Back in the day, it was like, oh, you see someone without armor, and to be fair, at this point, 3M was like level 4 armor, keep in mind, even though it still only stopped shotgun rounds. P.A.C.A. was second to best next to Fort armor. You saw a dude without armor, and it was like, oh, look at the little baby. Like, let's go bring him around, because then hatchet running was viable, and that's all people did for the most part. And now it's not. And I'm a little salty about it. But that being said, Mumbles, when you first started playing, because I think you you really picked it up again, not recently, but the previous wipe, not this current wipe.
Right.
What was your favorite kill that you've gotten so far?
My favorite kill. My favorite kill was last wipe. I was trying to get shooterboard in heaven on woods, laying down at the top of spine. I think my favorite kill was trying to snipe people over by the dead scav rock by scav boat or whatever it's called, that exfil around the water on the right side of the map, or the bottom of the map. And there was a guy standing there on top of the rock, and I tried to shoot like 3 or 4 people at this point, trying to get my zeroing. And this is when I didn't know about page up, page down. So I was just shooting 50 meters, like just angling my gun, just Hail Marying. And I remember, like, I went through all my ammo, like, trying to kill, like, 3 or 4 people. And I shot my last shot on the guy standing on the rock trying to find me. And I remember, like, looking at him through the scope, being like, oh, he didn't die, like, whatever, I'll just move the extract. I get over there, and the exhilaration when I saw the body on the rocks was just like, there is no way in my right mind that I actually hit this guy. And I picked up dog tags and I had my name on it. And that excitement, let alone the many multi-kills and other crazy kills, that excitement alone just sticks in my brain for my favorite kill. Just because I thought I'd miss, I was like out of ammo, I was like, whatever, like we'll go to extract, I don't care. And I saw the body there. I didn't even care. 581.7 meters or something like that.
Good lord, that's
Yeah.
wild.
It's like
I
a
think
two-part.
my favorite kill, maybe last night actually. That or the exfil camper that I killed like my first week. This dude was juicy. I made a YouTube video about it, which I'll link somewhere down below. But no, last night I was in customs with Shadow Fox and a couple folks from the Mags channel, and I had my M700 because I'm going for shooterborns because I haven't really worked on that this wipe at all. And this little gremlin is like hiding in the blue container over by the Bronze Pocket Watch tanker truck, you know, on Old Construction, and he killed the three of them, and like Shadow pushed up, killed APMC, like she was all sorts of sweaty over there. I thought she was gonna get him, and she died too. And I have an M700 and no secondary. M700 is a bolt action, so I was just like, well, that boy's M4 gaming. I'm probably not gonna win a stand-up fight with him. So I threw 3 grenades, trying to make him think I was about to push around, and I fucking booked it. And I went back, tried to get on ice cream. I'm too fat to hop on ice cream, so I went, rotated around, kind of near dorms on that hill, and I got a good vantage point, and I just hung out for a minute. And eventually he went trying to clear the bodies, and he had thrown a few grenades when I ran away, so I think he thought I was going to be a lot closer rotating. And I saw his little head pop up, and I put an M62 through it, and it was 110 meters. So I got revenge kill. That was a 3K against our own team, and I got my shooter born, and I killed a little goblin that hides in the blue container on customs this late in the wipe, which is, yeah.
And got my
like,
stuff off of him.
and I was able to fraud everybody's shit for him. So really, and I had everyone watching my Discord, like, and a bunch of people had joined in that weren't even on that raid. So I had like this little audience, and I was nervous, and I dropped that dude with a headshot. Fuck him. So yeah, unban Brian, if you're watching, you should get better at this game.
Wow, even remembering the person's name, I love
Oh, I kept his
Yep.
dog tag at the bottom of my case. Yeah. Oh yeah.
that so much. Shadow, what about you?
Question what?
Favorite kill.
Okay, so it's not like something that was very cool or any like not even like brag worthy, but so you probably remember. I don't know. Were we playing with Steven Mumbles at the time? But we were on Shoreline, and we were up on the hill, kind of like overlooking pier, and walk around this rock, and then there's this guy, like this juicy dude, and I just like click and hold, and he dies. And I was just a wee baby. I had no idea what I was doing, and I think that was like the moment that set a fire in my like soul. Like that was the moment that I just like, I don't know, it did it. That was my heroine.
I love it.
My favorite kill of yours is actually a 2K when we were on reserve, and it was me, you, and Lydecker, and I was holding that one corner, and the dude tossed a nade, and I thought the nade went beside me, so I pushed out and got dropped. And then I look over at her screen, and she's at one of the ramps or whatever, and she just like AD strafes, kills one guy, AD strafes, kills the other guy. Like the most casual fucking, she wasn't excited, she's just like, one's dead, the other's dead. And she just went and like looted him up and stuff like that, like
Whole gamer
Stone
mode.
Cold Killer, yeah, just fucking jiggle peeking these two dudes that were clearly more experienced than us at least, but she was just like, boop, boop, yeah, they're dead.
And that
I
one
love
was
that.
really good, or those
Yeah.
were, that was fun. And
Sure.
I don't know, like that like, I like being super patient because people get impatient. If you just wait them out, then like you're more likely to like hold your ankle and win. But no, it just like really worked, and I just like popped over the wall, killed one, popped back, killed the other one, and it was really nice. That was a fun one.
You know, it's easy to say that holding your angle works when you're the one that survived. When all I ever do is hold angles, and I just get quick peeked constantly, so I don't know what to do anymore.
It's
But
I have found when I don't care, I find to come out on top more. I feel like when I care and I'm more fidgety about like, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Sometimes just making that first instinct move quicker pays off, but also sometimes waiting out, like Shadow just said, sometimes that pays off. So it's a lot of like trying to realize what's the best option, and like sometimes it's a 50-50. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. And there's a lot of times where like I've gone slow and it's like if I would have just pushed quicker, he had the angle on me, he may have not anticipated me to move out quick and I probably could have gotten him. But there's also times where I could have sat in a room and if he pushed me I would have had the upper advantage.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Tarkov, and one headshot games period. It's always a do I wait or do I push? Like playing Siege in competitions and stuff like that, that same aspect was there too. It was like,
Well, to be fair, in Siege, you're going like this constantly.
oh, 100%.
You're just Q&Eing like you've never Q&E'd before.
Or you're holding such a pixel peak that like you can literally just see a shade of color through that pixel, and that's it. And once you see movement, you pull the trigger.
I bet you also use the ACOG for Jaeger as much as you could.
That's not a thing anymore. But I did, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what about ACOG for Jaeger?
Long ago in Siege, one of the operators had an ACOG sight on their like MPX, whatever gun it was, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And it was too good, so they took it away from them. And a lot of people actually refused to play the game for a while because they didn't like that.
It was the only way for defense to hold a long angle.
Yeah.
So Jaeger is not just a character in Escape from Tarkov, apparently.
No.
Funny enough, though, they both are assholes.
And funny enough, that Tarkov actually took Tachanka, who Kill is actually modeled after, and
Yeah.
Jaeger the name for him.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh.
They've released that.
Killa. Not that I want to flex anything, because I never do anything cool in Tarkov, but
Okay.
it's less of a favorite kill and just a favorite moment for me, because it was just so high energy, and I just didn't, like, my brain almost couldn't process what my hands and eyes were doing. But, I think it was, I don't think Mumbles was there. I actually think it was Exo Shadow and Lidecker, and we went to interchange. And all I wanted to do was kill Killa. And I never killed Killa at this point because I, one, hate interchange with a burning passion. And I just didn't really care about doing missions. I always just played the game because I could. But we went for Killa. We went up the main stairs, and I forget what clothing store we were near, but Killa was just in the hallway. And I just mowed him down after I think Exo and G died. To or it might have been actually you two, and G was alive.
Yeah, I think Lai was alive barely. He was healing.
Yeah.
We both got dropped, and
Yep.
he murdered Killa's face in.
Murdered Killa. Really excited about that because I just wanted to get that mission done. But then we went into the back room where some of the mannequins are, and you can kind of overlook from the main staircase. Healed. I freaked out because I saw two men go over to kill his body. They saw that we were in there. I got into a fight with them, didn't do anything. And there's like a little clothing like changing station there. I hid in there, watched Lai just get destroyed. So I felt a little bad about that one. But I had like 7 grenades on my person, and once those people charged me, I just started hucking grenades over the changing room, just hoping for the best. And by the time that I finished my grenades, I went out. There was a body that was like bent over in a corner, and there was another dude in the middle of the floor dead. And then as I start looting, another 2-stack came, and I dropped both of them instantly. And I started freaking out because I'm like, what the hell is happening? I've killed 6 people in about 30 seconds. I don't know what to do. And I tried to fraud everyone's stuff, and I don't even think I left with any of my gear. It was just like, it was so hectic, and that's what I live for with Tarkov. For the most part, it's like, I don't care if I die. I don't care if I live. If I'm running down a hallway and it's like I haven't seen anything for 30 minutes and then I just get domed out of nowhere, I'm angry. But if I run down that hallway and I get into the best firefight of my life and I lose, you know what? Good for that person. And that's pretty much what happened that night. But, man, those moments are the only reason I don't uninstall this game.
Yeah, I think one of my
Rare
favorite.
times are when you shine the most.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you should figure it out by now. I'm just an odd person. Tarkov.
Steve is the clutch for sure. It's like just when the situation is like absolutely impossible, he just kills the entire lobby.
Yeah,
It's
there's only
Like
two
that.
times.
When he starts making that one sound where he sounds like he's at
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like gorilla noise. I'm like,
that's when you like gotta pull up the stream because he's gonna do something ridiculous.
yeah. Pretty much. There's only two sides of me when I'm good. Is like Mumble said, when we just don't care and having a great time. Like when we did Tarkov Roulette and I hit a TT with Greed Tracer and I domed the guy with an airframe on and killed him instantly. That kind of crap wouldn't happen on a normal night.
No.
Or the other nights when everyone's dead and I'm just like, I guess I have to go God mode for like 30 seconds.
Well,
That's
because
it.
there's a couple times where like, I think one of my all-time favorite gunfights was the time that Steve and I pushed Pier, and there was that time when the whole lobby showed up at Pier. The entire lobby showed up.
Oh, yeah. What the hell was that?
Sanitar was dead. There was a 3-man on Pier. There was another 3-man that came up behind us. Steve died in the second 3-man. And then two men popped up afterwards, and they were all dead. Like, the lobby was there. I frauded Steve's stuff. I looted Sanitars. Unfortunately, someone got the stuff and probably put it in their butt because I didn't see any dog tags or, not dog tags, but key cards or anything. And I'm just sitting there, like, trying to cipher through all this stuff. Like, there was guys there with Hunters and Yulis, and then there was guys there with, like, Attack 2s and Altons. And I'm like, there's times where you're just going to take a loss in some of the gear. And that was probably one of my all-time favorite fights just because every 3 seconds there was another squad showing up. Like, we walked into an absolute shit show and then other people showed up and then other people showed up and it was like a barrage of people and just those great gunfights that you almost kind of black out because you look back and you're like, I don't know what I did that entire time. I was just shooting and I came out on top.
It's great.
This game is absolutely by leaps and bounds the most genuine adrenaline pumping game. Like I used to shake, like literally physically get the shakes. I would get so nervous. So just like Tarkov finds a way to just skip your fucking keyboard and mouse and it's just like, nope, this is real. You're actually VR doesn't do this shit to me. Like Tarkov VR, all other games. Like so yeah, I could absolutely see like the blacking out or just being like, I don't know, like it like what Steve said, you know, your brain's not even processing what you're doing, you're just kind of running on instinct and running on, you know, like
I'm in war. I am in Tarkov.
You in Tarkov, you are in those firefights.
This is real life or death.
It's probably what keeps us coming back is because like most people watch the game or whatever and the whole joke is, you know, like, oh, you die a lot. Like Tarkov's fucking brutal. Like, it's not a joke. It's not a meme. Like, it's fucking hard. It's not usually that fun. And then you have that one just, like, adrenaline-filled fight where you make it out bleeding or whatever, make it out with super fat loot. You're just like, holy shit. Holy shit. It's like, it's like gambling almost, you know? Where you go waste your life savings at the casino, but then one day you strike it big and you're like, okay, I'm going back every day now.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Like, I don't think I have an adrenaline addiction, but, like, I love the rush that I get from Tarkov. And I tell you, EXO, I totally get it. Like, you guys all know, we all do it. Like, we'll get into a fight or I'll get shot, and the first instinct is you end up moving your mouse and your character does a 360, you don't know what's going on, because you're freaking just terrified. But then I have other times where you hear, like, the crack of the bullet go by, and I'm like, I'm literally moving my head out of the way, trying to dodge a bullet from my computer monitor.
Oh, if you see me in stream, I'm like trying to peek around the corner like this. And it's like it doesn't help, but
like labs or something, man. I'm just like, you know, I'll hit Q and I'm like, okay, and I'll look at E and I kind of look and I'm like, I can't fucking my monitor. That's not how this shit works. But it's my brain thinks it's real, or I think that there is like some breakdown. I forget that it's not actually reality.
I wanted to install one of those eye tracker things where you kind of see like what we're actually looking at.
That would be really cool. That and the heartbeat monitor.
No, because I don't want to be at like heart attack risk all night.
You still would be. You just wouldn't know it, Steve. Like
I'd rather not know it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like cyclic. It'll make it worse.
Yeah.
You'll start panicking about your heart rate and then. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Shadow, before that though?
Oh, what about like IRL? Do you ever take any of this like when you turn the game off and you like start hearing things in your house and you like queuing around the corner. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, when I hear that, I instantly go into my backpack and I pull out my M1A.
That's pretty smart. That's honestly
I
kind of
go
what
peek.
I would want to do.
I turn my sunlight flashlight on and I go clear every room in my house.
Okay, don't ever play with Steve, because if you're running night vision, he's like, hey, look, I have literally the power of the sun.
I mean, why need night vision when you can just make it daytime?
True. Oh, you used to stick.
Night
what?
raid? You mean day raid?
And everyone else is running night vision, so I mean,
They can't see either.
I mean,
That is a pro streamer tactic. A lot of people, I forget who it was. It was like one of the big streamers just like, I just adjust my post effects and run a flashlight because everyone else has night vision on. And yeah, there's something to it. But the night vision's cool though. Like you feel like a fucking badass operator with an 8 in the word. You know, like you're just like, yeah, I got my NVG on, and then the cultists run up and shoot you and you die.
I'm kind of sad they
No,
took
I
out
haven't
the
seen the
thermal
cultists.
from them. Not being able to see them with the thermal is kind of rough.
Yeah, no, but you know what though, like, so that's the other part about this is there's the argument of like realism and hardcore and stuff. I'm here to tell you, the 7.62 by 5.1 NATO round and thermals, they're real fucking good. So the game has to balance against some stuff like that to some extent, or it turns into a one type meta, like everyone running thermals.
Yeah.
That's like they made the big adjustment this wipe to like only uncovered parts showing the thermal and stuff now, which isn't realistic. Like dead bodies show up on a thermal for a while because they're still warm,
Right.
and thermals look a lot different, like from a chopper than they do in the game. But again, then everyone would always run a thermal, and you would be completely at a disadvantage until you were high enough level and had enough money to run a thermal. So I, for one, am okay with some of those changes because at the end of the day, it's still a game that we want to be able to do well in and succeed in the quest and leveling and stuff, and that would just make it beyond oppressive. So
yeah, I'll be curious. So there is a thermal stim coming out. They have shared pictures of it multiple times. I'm curious how that's going to level the playing field. If it's a long term, or if it's going to be like, I'm getting shot at, I'm going to pop this for the next 180 seconds. Or I'm going to pop it for 180 seconds while I run across this field, and it's going to lower my temperature. Where I think they said it's still going to show up, but it's going to be like a light gray rather than a white.
it better take part of your run away, because if you're cooling your body down, your muscles are going to contract, and
Yeah.
you're not going to want to run like at all.
hey, they should take a lot of your run and jump away fucking by
Period.
default. Like
Yeah, like you said, it's still a video game. They got to have some form of weird mobility, like everything else.
Yeah,
I think-
but I don't know. Like, we need inertia. The biggest feature I look forward to is inertia, because the game is going to slow down tremendously, and I think a lot of the systems and mechanics within the game are going to feel a lot better and feel a lot more natural.
Look
when
what they
they
did
slow
with
down.
sprinting already.
Yeah.
And it's helped. It's definitely helped.
No.
And I mean, personally, I think arm strength needs to change back, because I can hold a rifle longer than these trained operatives could with holding an FAL up for like 10 seconds. Like, no, you can hold it up for a lot longer than that. I can.
Reduced grenade throw distance though, because I totally agree there, but like it's weird because the strength is like, yeah, I can't hold a gun for longer than 10 seconds, but I could chuck a nade a football field, or like legit I'll watch Mags throw a nade and I'm just like, like baseball players can't throw that fucking far. Like, give me a break. And nades aren't that lightweight either, you know?
No, they need to lessen the end distance, and they need to increase the short distance, because when you're brand new with no strength, your guy like hucks it at his feet. You're like, you're like, oh, I need to get it just over the wall. Let me take 2 steps back, and I'm just gonna like eat it. It's gonna fall over. It'll be fine.
I'm just really glad they didn't implement the CSGO style of grenades. If you strafe to the left and throw a grenade in CSGO, it's behind you.
Oh, and
Because
if
they
you
go
sprint,
in
it does
a
that.
precious situation. It's weird.
Yeah, if you're sprinting, it just drops it at your feet.
Yeah.
So I would be okay with them actually making the grenade a weapon, like in CS, where you actually have to switch to it and then interact with it. I feel like that would probably slow down some of the nade stuff. But they also, like, they nerf the fuck out of grenades this wipe. They don't.
Yeah.
I've got 4 grenade kills. I think I completed that quest last wipe, or got really close to it, playing a lot less and being a lot newer than I have this wipe. and I take 4 grenades in every raid, and I either die before I use one of them or I use them all. So yeah, no, but it is an RPG, so I do get that there is some, hey, your skill goes up as you level up and stuff like that. But yeah, I fully agree. Like, it shouldn't be to the point where I'm at a like significant disadvantage being a level 15 against a level 45. Like, I feel like the access to gear he has and the money he has and probably the experience he has over me, I don't think he needs the help of being able to throw the grenade, across customs. Where my gun can't even hit him. Like, that kind of stuff needs to, I agree with Pestily, I think, on a lot of that. Like, it just needs turned way down. And like, the minimum jump height needs to be turned up and the maximum jump height needs to be turned way down.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but ever since they introduced the Vogs, I don't know if this actually happens, but there's a point in time where, like, you could throw a grenade, any of the grenades, whether it was the F1 or the RPG, now they have different, timers on them, but you could throw them straight up in the air. They would not explode until they hit some form of solid ground. Grenades, as far as I know and am concerned, they will not explode in the air at all. The Vogs, they might. I don't really know.
They do now.
Usually people throw them immediately at the ground and they just explode. But like, I like what they do with the grenades for the most part. I mean, I think it's kind of dumb if you throw it at someone's foot now. They just don't die. They just break their legs. So it's kind of odd. But like, yeah, I've thrown grenades straight up in the air and you can just watch them fall back to earth, and then the second they hit the ground, they explode. And I'm pretty sure like F1s have like a 2-second fuse or 3-second fuse. It's really not that bad. But like, that grenade's in the air for longer than 3 seconds, especially with a high strength, and it doesn't explode. I might be crazy, but
I've not seen that. I feel like maybe they fixed that then, because I know I've even done throws high enough that my F1 is like an aerial explosion or whatever. So
I've definitely done that with Vogs. Vogs, I do that all the time.
good.
Maybe this wipe with the grenade.
I mean, I don't really bother throwing grenades straight up in the air anymore, but like back a little bit, it was kind of just weird. Grenades.
Yeah, no, I've done it.
Grenades
this
were
wipe.
viable, but like, you had to be like really precise with a grenade back then.
I'm glad they tuned down flashbangs though, because flashbangs used to be like, it landed like 2 feet behind you, you got flashed. Like, I'd be concussed for sure. Like, give me the concussion status, but don't flash me if it's behind me. But now they fixed it so you had to be looking at it. But I mean, then you're on a PC, so you just quickly do a 180 and you just look away from it, and you still don't get concussed anymore. So I feel like they need to bring the concussion in with the flashbang grenades to kind of make those a little bit more viable.
Well, in IRL, they're called concussion grenades because they're less than lethal. Like, you'll have ruptured eardrums and you'll be on the ground screaming and out of breath, and like, I kind of feel like they should rework those a little bit or just remove them, because I don't feel like flashbangs typically translate really well to video games. Because it's like, oh, you're blind for a second. Like, nope, you were on your ass screaming, hoping you're dead, wishing you were dead if you get hit with a concussion grenade IRL. So either let them disable my opponent and I can walk up and execute him with a handgun, or just take him out, because otherwise you're just like that flash round. They're just toxic. Like, and I get it, and that's totally fine. If people want to play the game a certain way, I like making them mad. Cool. Like, that's nice and all, but maybe go play Forza and just drive around backwards and make everybody mad there. Like, leave my game the fuck alone, you know? So, but I also have pretty strong feelings about, like, intentionally toxic play style, because at that point, why not just use cheats and go ruin everybody's day? Like, if that's your goal, just go do it. Don't be scared to buy stolen credit cards to commit felonies. Come on, bro. It's just a game, right? Like,
It's just a game.
you know, go play different games.
You know how many times
wanna
I've
be
been
toxic.
hit by a star round and I immediately just I just take my hands off my keyboard and I walk away because of how long it freaking takes. Honestly, I'm still convinced that the glasses that reduce your stun duration they don't work.
They do. I tested it.
Okay, so what's the reduction? A minute to 45 seconds?
Aviators are like 20% reduction.
It's
Was it 30?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, I get it.
is.
Make the flash go away, but have like a little circle in my peripheral at all times, or like where I'm looking a little bit. My whole screen's not going to stay white forever,
Yeah.
as long as it does. Like,
Yeah.
Or give me the ability to close my eyes and decrease the duration of it or something. I don't know. These characters don't seem to blink really at all.
Ever.
So
Yeah,
like,
no, I think just remove them from the game. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things that I feel like they don't contribute positively to the experience, even as a user of them. They're just a way to pretty much. It's like, hey, opponent, take your hand off your mouse and keyboard for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Like, it's not gameplay viable if it stops you from playing the game or interacting with the game, and that's my big. And I've actually only been hit by flashes a couple times, and I've only been hit by a star round like once. So I say that as a person that's not dealt with it much, even, and I still don't even like the concept of them. It don't take away player agency in such a difficult game. Like, throwing nades works pretty well, as it turns out. And if you get kind of hit by the nade, you're concussed and your screen gets all like loopy and your health is halved, and like, yeah, that is, in my opinion, a way better interaction, because then I'm still have agency. I still can make a choice. Do I run out? Do I push him? Do I lay down and pretend like I'm dead? Like, I don't just go pretty much walk away from the keyboard. Cool, I guess that guy with his flashbang got me. Like, neat.
See, I remember there was one time where I got absolutely bullied by the star round. And I am okay with this time because they spent so much money on star rounds that I don't even care. Because it was 3 guys, all KS-23s, all star rounds. They were rifling off shots, flashing me, and then trying to get grenade kills on me, and I was able to jump on the forklifts and run around corners in forklift area and factory. And this probably went on for like 3 minutes. Like, these guys were just flashbanging me, trying to throw grenades, and they just couldn't kill me. And I would want to say each person probably went through 9 or 12 flashbang star rounds, which are going for about 20K in the market. So they spent hundreds of thousands of rubles, and finally ended up switching to actual real rounds when I think I went in with a Mosin to try to get close range Mosin kills. And I'm like, fine, take my 50K gun. You just spent 600K each trying to kill me. And that was the only time I was fine. I was like, fuck it. Like,
I'm gonna make you sad. I buy 2-star rounds every reset that I can remember to, for like the 285 rubles or whatever. I have an ammo case like half full of star rounds at this point.
like it's like 2,500 still around from the vendor.
What? No, it's not. It's like 285.
No way.
Or 3 something. Yeah. No, it's
I'm
it's
pretty
definitely
sure
sub
Prepper was
1,000.
screwing me then.
No, it's definitely sub 1,000. Maybe they increased the price at one point to try to balance it or
Yeah.
something, and then they were like, oh wait, we put money printing things in the game called Bitcoin miners. Well, making this slightly more expensive doesn't help. It really, again, like, I don't know. It is hard for me to change my mind about a mechanic that forces you to not play the game. Just delete the shit. Like, no one likes it except people that are so bad at the game that they use it like as a true play style. Like, go play Call of Duty.
at least they decreased the range on them, though. They did decrease
That was
that.
helpful. Yeah. that
Because
was really
before, if you spawned factory down the hallway, you can get someone in forklift. And now you have to be like 5-10 meters away tops.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
But before you start getting like just normal concussed. Because you can get concussed when you're behind it, which is, I get it, but
Not the star round as much, because it's not technically a concussion grenade. It is a bright round. Like, it should
Yeah.
concuss or hit you from behind. Like, I don't know. It's a
I mean, it could be just a broken thing too. Right now, they have a lot of. I mean,
true.
now that they have like, I think did they just make an announcement they have more than 30% now? That they're bringing more people back in the office. So I do have a little bit more high hopes with stuff getting done a little bit quicker. Because even though with a lot of that stuff you can remote out, it's way easier to do it inside rather than having to bring it back and forth.
I don't fully agree with that. I manage a remote team of developers as a job, and this is not my first time having a remote team, because I had like contractors and stuff like that at a prior job. I think some of the planning and like iterative kind of discussions and stuff like that are facilitated a little bit more in person, but the developers aren't sitting there on each other's laps hanging out, like,
Right.
even when we're in person. So I don't know. I know they did a big hire recently, right? Like
They still are. They're hiring a ton of
okay.
Unity people.
I have a lot more faith in that action than them being in the office or not in the office. And I actually think it's kind of weird that Nikita only wants people that live in like Russia to develop the game, because I mean, at a certain point, if you're a good enough developer, you're just gonna move
And-
away from Russia.
I don't think Russia has the greatest internet setup, like nationwide, like we do. Because we
Yeah.
definitely strive on it a little bit more because we're a little bit more condensed than Russia is.
Sure. And we have
So-
more money than Russia, so
Yeah.
I think we're a much more prosperous nation. They're, you know, I think like St. Petersburg or Moscow or whatever is like the one like fairly normal place, and the rest of it's still pretty
Rural.
recovery mode or whatever. So you know, but it's their game, and I think I believe in their vision more than I question some of their odd decisions. So you know, I'm sure it'll all come to fruition as it should. Maybe not the pace that we would all like, but as it should.
And Nikita made this in his apartment initially, so I mean, he's not gonna let it die. He's not gonna let the fans hate it too much.
No.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
This is his baby.
Tarkov has grown exponentially in the last 3 to 4 years. It's ridiculous. And it
Drops
really,
blew it up.
yeah, I'll say it really took off the first drop that they did with Pestily. It was, I think it hit what, like 130K views, and then immediately you tried to play Tarkov and you could not play Tarkov. There was no server to play on at all. And if you did get in, you had a 10-minute queue time.
Yeah, good.
It's like wipe day servers. Wipe day servers are just you go to customs once when it's announced, and then servers get shut off.
I don't play on the first day of Wipe.
Like this is day before wipe. Day before wipe is what I mean.
Oh.
Like you can get on customs once, and then it's too full. You have waiting time of like 15 minutes, and then the server just gets shut down. Period, because it's on fire. And then you go to labs. You get domed from across the map by fucking PP rounds from a raider, and then you just go to factory and you just fight it out and lose all your gear.
When the last wipe happened, they announced it. We all went into factory, and like my IRL play group.
Yep.
I was just like, oh my god, this all like everyone had a GL,
Yeah.
and we just fucking died. Like I tried to lose so much gear, I ended up just like deleting cases and shit. It was
I want to take.
I'm
that
just-
game.
I'm just glad that they wiped on Christmas, because like what better day where no one has any prior obligations or might be traveling or anything like that than Christmas, right?
Well, you also have all the kids too that are getting the game as a present.
That was
That
terrible to wipe on Christmas Day itself. No.
If you
No.
buy
It
your
was
child
awful.
Tarkov as a present, Mumbles, you are a bad parent.
Shit parent.
You just want to torture your child without it looking like it's illegal.
Wait.
Yeah, without committing crimes.
It's legal torture, all right?
So,
Yeah.
Shadow, you're the newest player here, and you are probably the, I guess, like, you're the latest person to get into it, right? And you're probably, this seems like more of a hardcore game than what's been up your alley some in the past. Like, I hate myself enough to play, you know, 8-10 leagues of Path and stuff. What is the one biggest thing you would change as a new player to help the new player experience? I know it's not on script, but I'm really curious because I have opinions too, and I kind of want to know.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know that I ever would have really like gotten into it if it weren't for like finding if it weren't for you guys. Not well, I guess you guys also, but like if I didn't join with you, EXO, and some kind of a group, I can't imagine what it would be like picking this game up. Like oh, Escape from Tarkov sounds fun, and then just like go into it solo. Like, how do you even? They list factory as what Breeze now, and I realize that's a joke, but like, how many times are you gonna go in there thinking that this is like the actual like tutorial kind of thing, and just get your shit kicked in? When do you realize that that's a joke? How do you keep going? How does anybody new get into this alone? So I guess my one thing would be like, I don't know, some kind of an introduction to kind of help you like learn. And some of that comes with like your lower level tasks and stuff, like sending you to customs and stuff a bunch, but I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more to learn because it is a really hard game, but it's not hard just because there's like, you know, people that play this 10 plus hours a day all the time. It's hard because there's so much nuance, plus the people that play 10 plus hours a day. But you know, you can be a level 3 and like get really lucky in a fight and take down like some like juicy Chad. But yeah, I don't know.
They definitely need to change how new players start, because like right now the only benefit you have to being a new player, and I think it's only until like honestly level 5 or 10 at this point, is you don't have to pay to heal after raid, and even then it only costs like 4K to heal after that anyway, so it's not really that much of an advantage. Like even with no money. I mean, I think a boot camp or something, like you getting dropped into Tarkov would be really cool to just learn how to play the game, or even if there was a couple of tutorial missions that actually gave you rep with Prapper, I'm assuming it would be, and just learn how to play the game, that'd be cool. Or it's like you do offline raids, but like maybe you get like 2 or 3 offline raids that you do when you don't lose gear, but like if you kill a scav you can take that gear out with you as a new player and just learn how to play it.
Yeah.
I think I would really like if at a much lower level, or even from the very beginning, if you have your shooting range. Because when you're really new, not just lower level, but when you're really new at the game and you're like learning how to like build a gun and what sights go here, you don't realize that that other sight or something is in your way until you go into raid, and then you're screwed.
Yeah,
so,
I think...
before you jump in there real quick, or even Mumbles, I want to ask Shadow one thing. When you say new player, what do you define as new? Like level 1 or under like 50 hours account time? You know, like what would we consider a new player that would get these benefits? 'Cause in theory, when a wipe happens, you still have an account lifetime, but your playtime goes back down to 0 at that point. So like, does everyone get that tutorial again if they want, or is it just only for like sub 10-hour account life?
No, it's a good question. I think that what I'm specifically referring to would be like an account time kind of thing. But then that begs the question, whenever a wipe happens, like, do you just have that tutorial kind of thing as an option?
I'd assume you'd have the ability to skip it, but like to your point, playing the game for as long as I have and even you guys have at this point, I would love to be level 1 and have the shooting range.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing in new guns and stuff. Like, you'd like to try it out and kind of see like how things work before you just take your really expensive new weapon into a raid and screw up and lose it.
Yeah. The counter argument there is offline raids exist. Like, offline raids are the most useless and worthless thing in this game. I'm sorry, but I don't learn more than the map layout on offline raids, and I learn the map layout wrong because I don't learn player pathing. I don't learn where the hotspots are and shit. I can go learn interchange on a scav. Scav raids exist still, right? Like, offline raids in their current state are, again, in my opinion, they are functionally useless in their entirety. Like, I showed my dad this game and had him play Factory a few times on an offline raid. Like, that was showing your parents Tarkov and how, like, laughing while they play it should not be the only purpose of an offline raid. Maybe boss hunting and learning like the boss and raider mechanics. I could kind of see that argument or whatever, but still, like, you're gonna learn how to fight the bosses from the wrong position because you don't know that's a common player path and you should be on the other side of here, kind of coming up from the bottom. Like, it teaches you wrong. It's like playing the game on easy mode or whatever. Like, you're just gonna learn the game wrong. So
no, I pretty much only use that for learning maps and having fun, I guess.
I'll say I use it when I wait for you guys to be done with a raid. That's about it.
Labs warm up, I think, is the most useful offline raid because raiders are hard. Like, even on some of their easiest difficulties, they're still hard. Like, if you put them on easy, they're a potato. They're still a potato. But they're going to be easier than an AI scav on easy that's shooting in the air because they're on easy and their AI is all whacked off.
Then let me go into labs offline without a key card.
Yeah.
mm-hmm. No,
If you want to do that, you need to either be to the point where you spend 200K with therapists before they sell out, or 400K on the flea market, or hope that you just find one on a scav before you try that map.
And then if you find one on a scav before you've tried that map, it is 100% the right decision to sell that shit. Don't keep it for an offline raid. You need that 300,000 or 400,000 early wipe to, like, not get shit on.
I do want to point out that I'm pretty certain if you do take it into, like, if you just use it for offlining, it still remains fur, so you can just sell it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but still, like, you should just sell it for the money.
It is funny. It definitely comes down to your skill level, because I know, like, Pestily especially said that obviously he's a god at this game, hands down. There's no reason to even contradict that. But like, if you're level 3 and you happen to come across a labs key card, the first thing that you should do is go into labs, because what's the worst that happens? You lose your gear anyway, that you were going to go into a map with your little Mosin or whatever the hell you have, when you could go into labs, kill 4 freaking raiders, because odds are at that point there's not a lot of people that have active labs cards are going in there, so it could very well just be you and AI, and you could get some really juicy gear out of it. It's a very big risk reward situation, but like, to your point, right, though, you get level 3, you get out, and it's for the first thing you're doing is selling it to therapists for like 250k.
Well, and I you're probably right there, because I'm kind of speaking from like a second plus wipe experience where I'd know to save it. I probably have a chance to actually go in there and get some kills in lab. Well, I mean, if I wasn't a potato, I would have a chance to go in at level 3 and actually make it out with something. But yeah, the other people aren't even going to know that. And while we're on that subject, I understand that locking Flea behind a certain level is needed for RMT buying, or to prevent RMT. It is the single worst part of my experience as a sub 10 is, since I have a full-time job and I only can play Tarkov for like 8 hours a day at most, I am getting shit on before I can buy ammo. I have to run an SKS until level 10 because it's the only gun that can consistently put not the trashiest bullet downrange with any sort of accuracy at all. The iron sights on the SKS are actually decent versus like the AKM and stuff. And I'm not sure you even have access to buy the AKM that early. Like, they need to find a different way to combat RMT, to not put people that are trying to get their quest done at even more of a significant disadvantage than they already are trying to get their sub 10 quest done, because, you know, there are popular streamers who like to hang out on those, you know, early wipe quest and just camp people. I don't know, because they ran out of animals to torture. You know, like, something needs to be done about that, because again, yeah, block RMT, that's totally fine. Don't punish everybody. Like, fucking, you need to be level 5.
Bungus had a really good take on this about putting it in tiers. So at up to level 10, you have a certain amount of stuff available. What that is, it's hard to say. And then once you hit 20, you get another tier of stuff. Level 30, level 40. But then again, if you still have those tiers, you still have certain items locked behind a level wall that you have to get to. So I think the only way to really, I guess, hit the flea market hard with trying to level it out is spawns of items. Because, again, if you lock the slicks behind level 40, you're still locking the low-level people out from getting that level 6 armor. Yeah. I mean, granted, now that they put the multiple colors in the slicks price have dropped down dramatically. I think they're down to like 250, 300k. And I think even a Fort Redut goes for more than that now. Which is kind of weird, but, I mean, I'm not going to complain about a cheap slick.
Right.
So...
yeah. I would be happy with reliable access to tier 4 pinning ammo earlier on. 855A1 should not be some tier 3 trade. Like, that's ridiculous, because I can get class 4 armor as a semi-competent player 1 week or less. I could run a class 4 only from that point forward, putting me in a situation where I'm numerically disadvantaged that heavily. Like, what's the point of that? Like, oh yeah, so player skill matters a lot. Also, even if you have good skill, unless you face tap them, fuck you. Man, give everybody 855A1 at level 10 or level 5. Like, let a couple of the common caliber, mid-high tier ammos be more readily available.
Yeah.
You know,
you still have
the dude that's higher level than me.
Yeah, and you still have the amount cap, so maybe lower the amount cap, and as you level the person up, you get more.
Perfect. Yeah, if I can get 30 rounds of 855A1 at level 10 versus 300 at level, cool, that's fine. Then I have to be smart with my ammo. That's
right.
Cool. But I still can actually kill the dude, and I'm not just, like, go against a PMC as a scav. Like, how often do you actually have a chance? Unless you're Pestily or someone that can really just click on faces out well, how often do you run into player scavs and go fucking toy with them? How often do you just, like, shift W and shit on them, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like, that shouldn't be the PMC to PMC experience especially when they're not like preventing sub 10s from queuing with 10 pluses on customs, or like something to make it where you can get to 10 reliably and a bot's not going to do it. It almost feels like they want to have you buy the game and then quit. They're like, oh, we want you to quit, so we're going to make you quit.
I think what might help this, and thinking about Steve's question to Shadow about like tutorial and stuff like that and how that came up. Doing a tutorial for your first wipe. And now there's always something in the game that determines this, because the second time you load in, besides this wipe, apparently every wipe before this, everything was already examined for you, so you never got that XP. No. So if you have a set, now I'm kind of going back between Siege, where they give you 10 levels, essentially 10 offline raids of, here's a gun, here's some attachments in your backpack, put them on the gun in raids. So you can put a foregrip, you can put the sight, you can put the stock on, maybe put a muzzle on, and then show them that they can just drag stuff over. Show them how to kill AI scavs, show them how to kill maybe even a raider, maybe dumb down the raider a lot so it makes them feel a little bit hyped that they killed the raider. And then I'm also going back between like Apex, that has more of a shooting range feel of it, where you're given like 5 or 6 targets of AI, maybe they can move around, maybe they can't, and you kind of work your way up the guns and kind of see pistols, shotguns, SMGs. I'm kind of going between those two kind of tutorial feels. I'm leaning more towards Siege because you could specify a specific task to understand.
It's interesting that you mentioned the Apex shooting range, because I almost like that route better, but the way I'm thinking of it in my head is, obviously we have the current shooting range where you have 3 targets, and to be honest, that wall is probably about 30 freaking meters.
Yeah.
Not effective if you want to even test sight ranges at all. So one of the things that I really hope that they do, I don't know why they haven't, or even said anything about doing it, expand the range to, I don't know, even say like, expand it to 1,000 meters, right? It can go that far back if you really want to. Maybe not that drastic, like 500, because who's really trying to hit a shot at 1,000 meters, right? Get rid of all of the targets that are there. Just have one target on a rail. You can set where you want it, and you have, so I don't know, I mean, some of you have VR, but there's that hot dog hand grenade and horseshoes VR game, whatever it's called. I don't have a VR headset, I just watched it. But like, the shooting range in that game, when you shoot something, you have a screen to your left that you can look at. It'll tell you where you shot, where your bullet went. Give me that feature, and like, tell me how far away like I'm actually hitting, and something like that. On top of that, though, I want to see, I mean, I think of this more as just a meme than anything else, but I want to have like our shooting range, but then another range next to it with an AI scav that you could like be like, the scav has an AK, right? And it has, you could say it has PS ammo in it, right? Whatever. And you can have it shoot you in the chest. With that, whatever arm you're on, you can judge, okay, I can survive this many bullets, essentially. I know how much damage I can take before I die, essentially. Like, because we've all had those raids where we go in with USAC armor or anything else that we like using, really. I mean, I use like M2 rigs all the time for whatever reason. And we go thick and we die instantly. But then I go in with a shatter mask and like a TV rig, and like I become God and I can't die. So like I really need to know, I don't know, I need to know how much damage is being dealt to me. Like, I know you can go online, you can see what the ammo is, you can see how much flesh and pen damage, so we all know that. You can kind of gauge it. It's like, okay, well, if this does 26 pen, you know, against the slick armor, it's probably going to take about 7 to 13 shots.
It should not require external tools.
I mean? But, like,
yeah,
give me that in the game, at least. Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't use it too much, but when I do, I learn a lot. Like, I use the Battle Buddy app quite a bit that Veritas developed. And, like, when I was trying to do Shooter Born in Heaven, I came up with a great build that I was using with the SR25 with like BPZ ammo, the TPZ ammo, and it was like, hey, yeah, at 100 meters you can simulate a gunfight. It says that you lose because it assumes you're within, you know, actual shooting distance, but it took 2 shots to an Alton pretty much to kill someone. Okay, so then why do I need to run great ammo if I'm trying to get sniper rifle kills? Yeah, obviously, you shoot them in the chest, hopefully they die, but I'm not going for chest shots. I'm going for headshots. If I shoot him in the chest, I really don't care if he's live. I hope he lives, to be honest with you, so I can shoot him again in the face. That's running the bad ammo. But like, I want to be able to know that before I go into the raid. I want to be able to pre-plan everything, and I don't really have that ability to unless I go online or I use a third-party tool to figure it out.
Yeah, understanding that ammo types actually make a difference is really important. I've killed players that are level 26, and I check in, they're running 855. And I'm just like, this dude had the drop on me, he had all the other gear, his gun was kitted out, there's no reason at all I beat him except that I have access to websites he doesn't know about yet. Like, it's like the whole Path of Exile trade thing. Like, if I have to plan my build, like, if I have to use 5 or 6 external tools to play your game at the level everyone else is playing it, I got news for you. Like, I don't care how you want to sell it, your game is failing. Like, your game is failing to do a core job of video game, which is let me play the video game to get better at the video game. Like, it's so weird, the concept, well, just go off and do all these other things. Like, if I wanted to study, I'd go back to school. Like, I want to play a video game. So let me play the video game and learn within the video game.
Right.
But no, I think that there's a lot for new players that will happen as it gets closer to full release too, like tutorials and stuff like that. They're not going to make one and then revise it 17 times when mechanics and stuff change. But I think, to Shadow's point, they need to have something in now. Even if it's a tutorial video, like that you click on and it opens up the YouTube video in your game.
Yeah.
Like,
it's called raid episodes 1 through 5 or 6. Watch them.
It'll teach you shit about the game.
It teaches you what happens if you go into certain areas of a map.
Yeah.
Everyone speaks Russian, but like, yeah, it definitely needs some kind of bridge, I feel like.
Yeah. So, I mean, I learned the game with no aids at all, and it was definitely a struggle. Like, definitely having that Sherpa person helped. I would say more than the aids that I've learned about now, just because they can speak to me as how they learned, where an aid just like, here's the straight information, go do this. Where the person can be like, go do this because of this. Like, don't do that because of this.
Yeah.
I still give you advice to this day on things you don't even know.
Yeah, you taught me page up, page down 1,200 hours into my game.
When you're doing these shooter borns and you shoot, don't unclick left mouse. Hold left mouse. You stay scoped in. You see what happens. You know where that bullet lands. And then, recock the chamber or whatever gun you're using.
Yeah.
And shoot again. Like,
I
you
still
had
don't do it.
hours in the game than me, and you didn't know that was the thing, just because you've just been grinding and not really like, fundamental.
Hiding information from players should not be where we get our advantage against newer players. We should get our advantage against newer players by knowing the map more. By knowing, okay, I'm going to run a TV-110 into this raid because I don't want to take my backpack because I might have to take the suit. Like, there's a new player knowing everything we know is still at a massive disadvantage. Like, there's no reason to put them at more of a disadvantage because they're new. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's see, Shadow, that's why I like your take on these things. I think you have good ideas for stuff like that.
So let me ask you guys this, because I get the reason. Real life aside, right? Because clearly, at the end of the day, this is still a video game, right? Before they fully implemented armored rigs, like carriers, whatever you want to call them, right? It was all body armor. But if you look at things like a slick or even a hex grid at this point, probably a slick because of how thin it is on your actual character, what's stopping me from putting an M2 rig over it?
It used to work like that.
I know they've changed it. I get it because, like, yeah, then, Super Chad over here is rocking level 10 armor out of nowhere, apparently. I get it. But, like, limit it. Bring it back. I know that's probably the worst take anyone's ever had tonight on something. I liked the idea of having, I could put a 3M body armor on, but, because of how thick it is, I could only put one specific armor that's, normally really crap over it, but together maybe it makes something decent where I can live. And because 3M can actually stop shotgun bullets, maybe I'll survive for 2 shots this time as opposed to something else.
I think you're totally right. I think
See-
the one problem is the slick and the hex grid are no negatives, no real like movement speed debuff of like 4%. Those things should be near the debuffs of some of the other class 5 and class 6 stuff. And then they could enable your system, because if you did that, you'd be moving as slow as the dude in the ninja armor, which is fine. They have the ninja armor. Or like you could have a thorax only rig and then thorax and stomach class 2 below it, to protect against the shotgun blast or the the KS boy that missed your legs.
Give me a shrapnel vest. I don't care. If that takes the place of my body armor, give me a shrapnel vest, and I'll wear a shitty tack rig over it so I can tank a grenade, that fragments into my freaking heart.
See,
I don't know.
They plan on switching the armor around. They haven't said when. Now, this was 2 podcasts ago. They're gonna switch they want to switch the armor around so it's plate based, not what the actual item is. So you can take a slick in, but you can put a level 2 plate in it. Like, you want a cheap ass rig that you can still move super quick and have no negatives as far as movement. Like, just throw a level 2, level 3, level 4 plate in it if you don't want to pay for the level 6.
That was the feature until post-launch. That was in the podcast. They talked about when inertia is coming. So unfortunately, we're not getting that anytime soon.
But what does that mean then? Does that mean like I can go in with a slick with a level 4 plate in it?
Yeah.
Get shot 4 times, unzip the slick, take that plate out and put another one in.
Yeah.
Literally, yes.
And fix mid-game.
But plates would be, I guarantee you, crazy expensive.
I'm not saying they wouldn't be. If you're going to do that, I'm totally for it. But fix hit reg.
It'd be fucking heavy, too.
Please, at that point. Like, make sure that if you're shooting someone, it's hitting where it's, the bullet's actually going. Because I know they've changed it, but especially with the helmets, before you didn't have a helmet, whatever, grid. You just had a head. I can't even think of the name of it. Like a hitbox. That's the word I'm looking for. Before it was, if you put a helmet on, you didn't have a head hitbox. It was a helmet hitbox. So you got shot in the face without a visor on, it was blocked by the helmet hitbox. Obviously, they fixed that. I mean, this was freaking
early, yeah.
It was hilarious because you could have crazy ammo and just like watch a bullet bounce off someone's nose. But like, they did that with the helmets. It could very well be already working this way. I haven't done testing. I don't really do that stuff. I don't really care for it. But like, I hope that they know that, you have a chest hitbox and you have an armor hitbox when you're wearing body armor, and it's not just an armor hitbox.
No, so, and I know this one for sure. What it states it protects visually does not matter. So like, the Gen 4 that protects arms, if you get hit in the arm here and your armor's here, it still hits the armor itself. It is body part coverage based. So, well, and I think if they like were to do something where they had upper arm, lower arm, and just break up the stuff a little bit more, because I get what you're saying, but I think that's going to be, there's a bigger technical challenge behind that than it probably sounds like. But they could absolutely make just a bit more granular of armor areas. And another thing I really think they should do is they should change the armor areas on body armor like they do with helmets and face shields. So like my Gen 4 is class 5 here, and then it's class 3 in my arms or something. Like then we could have some more variance in things, or a little bit more variability or whatever. And I think coupled with an idea like yours of, I could throw on the 3M that's class 2 for my stomach and chest, and then throw on a TV-110 that's class 4 for my chest only. I think they would have to adjust armor values across the board, and like that would
it would be a whole
balance.
rework. That's fine.
Yeah.
If they decide to do that and it took 3 years, fine. It's just one of those things where if, as much as it sounds like I'm complaining, I love Tarkov and I love everything Battlestate's doing. But like, if you're gonna implement new things or new forms of how you can wear armor in the game, like, just make sure you kind of fix the old stuff first or balance it beforehand. Because it's a really cool concept, but when it breaks everything, because I can shoot someone literally in like the rib cage that has just, it's all flesh, but nothing happens, there's a problem. It doesn't matter how cool it is that I can swap out armor mid-game.
Yeah, I would like to be able to hit people in the ribs, catching them in the side and stuff. Like, that's a concern for military and LEO with current body armor. And that's why, like, those big crazy suits and stuff, that shit's so heavy. And really, like, the slick should not be like, and I get it, but it's one of those things, it's like, oh, if you have a lot of money, then you don't have any downsides and you have the best armor. Like, that's probably not the best balance for a game. Like the gear should probably work in like a more logical way where a hex grid either is going to stop like 1 or 2 bullets, like closer to how it acts at IRL, or it needs to be the same amount of debuffs. Like I need to balance how tanky I want to be with how mobile I want to be, not how much I want to spend.
See, I think that's where Zabralo kind of shines. Is yes, it's level 6 to your arms, your stomach, and your thorax, but it's 20 freaking kilograms. It slows you down by 40%. Like,
And that's how they should work. That's
you
how
are
the slicks should
covered.
work. Yeah.
But boy, you take a big hit. Like when you got to turn in that, and if you're wearing an Alton and you're going super thick, you're turning at fucking 2 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Like, I'm gonna get him.
that should be the balanced choice, or that should be a choice the player has to make, and then a better player is better at doing it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And then the dude that wants to go in super thick just needs to be good at being thick, because just like right now, if I were to be like, hey, go shoot that target, you know, and then I were like, hey, wear this 100 pounds of body armor, go shoot that target, you're gonna have a harder time doing it. Like, I don't, you know, like,
I mean,
that's how life works.
last wipe, for some reason, and I don't know why I did this, I wore Zabralo a lot. And there was a lot of times where, like, I would be halfway to dorms and be exhausted. And my team would be in dorms, killed Rashala, killed the 6 other PMCs. I'm like, I'll be there in a minute, guys. Don't worry.
That is, in my opinion, a far better way to balance that shit out, because then the guy that's lower level, that's in the class 2 or 3 shit, runs into a walking tank. He's like, cool, well, I'm more nimble than him. It gives him a form of advantage, just like you know, Dark Souls. You know, you have the full strength builds, or you have the, you know, dex builds and stuff. Like, they have different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
One is not just, oh yeah, that's far better. That guy is better than that guy in every way. He's gonna win every engagement unless the other guy just gets unlucky, or, you know, gets kind of jumped on by surprise, gets ambushed or whatever. So.
And I feel like for, like, slicks, I think the only way you can nerf them is either drop their armor class or drop their spawn rates drastically. Because there's no reason I should have 13 of them. Like,
yeah,
I should not have 13 of the best armor.
I don't either.
No.
At this point, I've literally been, my life has been saved more times with an M2 rig than any other form of body armor, and it's so funny for me to say that because I'm pretty sure M2s are still on level 4.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
But you're quick.
but they're level 4. Like, it's either armored steel or Titan,
Armor seal, I
and
think.
and it's just like, I've survived so many rages by doing that. It's almost become my go-to over anything, over a Corund. As much as people complain about it, it's still level 5.
I love the Corund.
The armor movement, the penalties aside for each of them, I'm choosing a level 4 over a level 5. And not that that's an issue, but like,
Same.
the armor seems better to me at a lower level for whatever reason. And there was a point too where, and I do this actually all the time, when we have new wipes, from the time that I can buy them to the time that I can afford good level 4, level 5 armor, I run the Yuli, the tan Yuli TAC 3 or level 3 rig that has 80 durability on it, and it's armored steel. And yeah, you die by like 4 BS bullets or BP bullets, but I die by 4 BS bullets anyway when I wear level 5 armor.
Yeah.
You get
And
it
it's
back every
easy.
single time.
You get it back every time. You have less weight on you because it's just the TAC rig, and like, I can tank so many bullets with it, especially early wipe. It's always my go-to for like 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I use that diaper armor for probably till I hit 40, honestly. Once I get the ability to buy Corund armor, I'll buy it sometimes, but at that point, I'm still crazy spending money on my hideout, so I'm poor. Like, I got down to 73 rubles, I think, this wipe. It's like 73 or 730. I was poor at one point. Like, I had like 3 guns in my stash. I think I had 2 diaper armors, and I had like an MBSS backpack, and that was it. And I was like, all right,
And a tree.
yeah, and a dream. Literally, like, I had to work my way back up.
I think we should pick up the next podcast with what our plans are for next wipe,
Yes.
overarching strategies, things like that, because I know I have entirely different perspective now, playing from closer to the start to the end of a wipe and getting a lot better. I'm sure Shadow does too. And then I want to hear what you guys are going to do, because y'all are going to have some more advanced strats. And,
I am trying something completely different. Like I'm selling. I'll explain it next time, but
I can't wait. Wait.
I'm doing something completely different this wipe, and I think
Yeah,
wipe
you
is
will.
2 or 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Steve's
So let
gonna
me
try
ask
this
you.
new strategy called uninstall the game.
He'll escape from Tarkov finally.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Also, hot take on the armor thing before we end the cast. Gazelle is best armor. Changed my view.
It's garbage. Ceramic.
It's garbage repaired. I'm talking in a raid. If you took in a brand new fresh Gazelle every
heavy.
single raid,
Too heavy.
best armor of the game.
Too heavy.
I hate it. I hate
Really?
Gazelle.
Mm.
I've
I
never
love
worn Gazelle in my
Gazelles.
life.
I love the Gazelle. Man, I
No.
love the Gazelle.
Press armor or bust.
Best armor is the best armor in the game early wipe. And it's probably,
You know what? You know what I've been using a lot recently. Whenever we've been doing like our meme runs, and I found it's actually decent for whatever reason. It's the level 2 green armor that like just keep like it just covers
yeah,
your
Yeah.
heart.
P.E.K.K.A. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like 90 or 80 hit points or 120
Yeah.
or some shit.
I love
And
it.
it's camo-y and it doesn't look like the P.E.K.K.A. Like the P.E.K.K.A. is so they need to redo that
It's
model.
so good. It's
So
an armored
ugly.
steel level 2.
Yeah, no, it's
It's so
Titan. It's Titan. It's not
No,
steel.
it's even better.
Yeah, it repairs well and it's lightweight as shit.
No
So
one takes that.
yeah. Well, everyone, we hope you enjoyed our first episode of We Don't Know What the Hell It's Named Yet podcast.
That might be the name.
Maybe it should be
There
Where
you
the
go.
Hell Are We podcast. But make sure to tune in next time. We'll be talking our strats for the next wipe, as well as some other really fun topics for everybody. And maybe we'll even have a surprise or two. You'll have to tune in to find out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Thank you, Steve,
You're
and
welcome.
Shadow Fox, and Mumbles,
And XO.
and XO.
And
There we go.
Echo. Of course, we can't forget the man.
I'm not the man. Mumbles is the man. I just joined in. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a great night.
Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe.
Do that. Drop a like, subscribe. Down in the link, down below. You know, not the link, but I'll have shit down in the bottom. If you scroll down or like, whatever. Follow me on Twitch. I've been trying to stream more. Follow Mumbles. He is hilarious and he's way better at the game than I am. And if we can ever get Steve to crawl out of his hole and actually make content again, dude, Steve is fucking hilarious.
I love
So,
Steve.